Hi everybody, Materim here with another battle report. This time it's my Ogre Kingdoms versus a Warriors of Chaos army in a battle for the pass at 2,500 points. If you've seen my previous battle reports, this Warriors of Chaos army will look familiar. I played it against it with my Demons of Chaos army, and that turned out to be a victory for me. So my buddy wanted to try the same list against my Ogre Kingdoms, who are still smarting from the last beating I took at the hands of an Empire force in my most recent battle report. So we got a new knight, new army, and let's see how the Ogres fare against the Warriors of Chaos. Okay, here is an overview of the board after deployment. The river that runs right down the middle of the board turned out to be a blood river, so it gives fear. The forest in the top left is an abyssal forest, again gives fear. The hill was a scree slope, but we forgot about that, both of us, for the whole game, so it's just a normal hill. The tower was a tower of blood, again we forgot about that. You can kind of see on either side of the river there we have two fences, and then the one white square, and there's a second white square under my big Noblar unit that are both charnel pits that we did actually remember, so those are really the only parts of the terrain that factored in here. But my opponent got to choose sides, so I feel a little hemmed in. I'm hoping I can take the tower with my lead belchers and hold things, but should be a pretty good game. Not too much terrain, I don't think. Okay, starting with my opponent's side, he has a unit of 5 Chaos Warhounds with poison attacks. Right behind those is a unit of 3 Skull Crushers of Khorne, and his general is in there. I think he's there, the one on the far right. He's a Chaos Lord of Khorne on a Juggernaut with the Sword of Swift Slaying and Soul Feeder. Right next to that, he has his Chaos War Shrine with a level 2 Chaos Sorcerer on top of it with Shadow Magic this time. I know last game we played he went with Fire and didn't really like that so much. And that mage has the Staff of Sorcery. Next to that, he has his unit of Chaos Warriors of Khorne, 23 of them with full command, and the Berserk banner, I think is what it was called. He has that on his, or Banner of Rage, which he has on his BSB there, who is an exalted hero of Khorne. He also has a second Chaos Lord of Khorne there with the Obsidian Lodestone and Scaled Skin. So a lot of characters that are going to be feeding off that War Altar. He used them to pretty good effect during the last game we played together, and my Ogre army is even less able to avoid the battles with those heroes, so I am kind of concerned about that. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to deal with it if his heroes get pumped. I'm kind of hoping to destroy the War Altar pretty quick and stop it. And then on the other side of the river, he has a unit of 20 Chaos Marauders of Khorne. And then just on the other side of the forest, you can barely see it, he has a unit of 10 Chaos Knights of Khorne there. So, and I think they're full command as well. So a lot of champions, a lot of big heavy units, and those Chaos Knights are definitely going to be able to move fast on my flank. So I don't. I think he won the deployment war. I think he had more room to space out, and I think he's in a much better position to start off with. I really just have to rely on the strength and toughness of my ogres to hold out. Maybe some good magic, and hopefully I'll be able to weather what's about to come right down into my face. So we'll see how that works, and I'll show you what I've got to work with. And starting on my right flank directly across from his Chaos Knights, I have a unit of 4 Man-Eaters with full command. My front 2 ranks are armed with an extra hand weapon, and the back 2 have great weapons. And they have the Razor Standard, Poison Attacks, and Swift Stride. So I'm kind of hoping to get in there and open up some Chaos Knights with that. Right next to that, you see my 1 Saber Tusk. Then you see a unit of 3 Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists. And the character in the front there is Chog the Toothy, my level 2 Butcher, with Grut Sickle and Lore of the Great Maw. Right behind that, I have my 50-man Noblar bus with trappers equipped on that, so they're sitting right on top of the charnel pit because I had nowhere else to put them. I realize I'm very badly hemmed in here, but I've got some plans to open that up a little bit and see where we can go from there. And you see I have my Iron Blaster sitting right in the middle of the river. Again, running out of room. Then I have my unit of 7 Iron Guts, just to the left of that. In there is Khorne Face Crusher, my Tyrant and General. He's equipped with the Gold Sigil Sword, so he goes Initiative 10, the Armor of Silvery Steel for a 2-up armor save, and the Greedy Fist for some extra strength. Also, there is Got the Old, my Bruiser BSB with the Crown of Command on him. Just on the other side of that fence, you see my 4 Lead Belchers, and with them is Ungoro Flametongue, my level 2 Firebelly. He's just my Dispel Scroll Caddy, and hopefully a little bit of extra shooty there. And on my left flank, we have my Stonehorn. The Ogre on the back of him has the Harpoon Launcher. And you can't see it because the Stonehorn is too big, but there is a 2-man unit of Saber Tusks right in front of him for charge redirectors. And Warriors of Chaos get the first turn. Unsurprisingly, they move everything up. He's letting the War Shrine stay back a little, which is probably smart because he knows I don't like it and I want to take it apart. But he moved all 4 of his units on this side, and the Marauders and the Chaos Knights pretty much as far up as he could. With as far apart as we were, he wasn't going to get any first turn charges, but he's definitely set up for some pretty easy second turn charges. And in a preview of things to come, the Warriors of Chaos first turn magic, he casts the spell off of the War Shrine that lets him roll on the Eye of the Gods table, and turns the champion of his Chaos Warriors unit into a Demon Prince. Put him up there, so I've got no choice but to deal with it. And frankly, just adds to the number of headaches I've got coming right down on me. With nothing else to go in the Warriors' first turn, we go on to Ogre turn 1. I really start off here a lot less aggressively than I should. I actually rolled to Restrain on the charge into his Chaos Warhounds from my Stonehorn. I moved my Lead Belchers and Firebelly into the building, and you can't quite see it, but I moved the Saber Tusks around basically in front of the building, hoping to be a charge redirector up there and kind of spread some of his stuff out and stop his warriors from coming straight at my Iron Guts. And here's just a better shot of those 2 Saber Tusks and where they're at. I thought I was sort of being clever at the time, seeing if the warriors would come over to them, but I ended up choosing just a terrible place to put them, and I didn't even think about the fact that the War Shrine itself had a flank charge on them from this point of view, and my opponent was going to capitalize on that, and he was absolutely right to do so. In a slightly better use of Saber Tusks, you can see in the top right corner here, I move that 1 lone Saber Tusk up there to redirect the charge from his Chaos Knights. I also had to swift reform my ogre's bunker for my mage into a conga line so that I could move up the Noblars. I was thinking with this many Noblars and them being trappers, his knights are going to destroy that saber tusk and overrun right into him. Maybe if I'm lucky, they'll tie him up for a few rounds and let me deal with this middle, and maybe even let my man eaters get into the side of the chaos knights and cause some havoc there. So I thought this was a pretty good option. Not that I had too many of them at this point, but I figured 50 Noblars, even with the Warriors of Chaos, that's going to take at least a couple rounds to chew through, and it would buy me some time. And you see here, I just turned the man-eaters just a little bit to give them a line of sight on where I predict the Chaos Knights are going to end up. Hopefully, a flank charge from some man-eaters should put some pain into the Knights. Maybe if I'm lucky, even break them and let me gain control of this flank of the fight. So this picture shows the result of both my magic and my shooting phases. I attempted to cast the Flaming Head from my Fire Belly. I cast with the Irresistible Force, managed to do a single wound on the Demon Prince, which I was pretty happy with. But for my miscast, I ended up rolling an 11 and lost both of the levels of my Fire Belly. My Cannonball, I think, took out one Warrior of Chaos, and my Lead Belchers opened up into the dogs and only killed 4 of them. The dog did panic, though, and run off, but since everything behind it was frenzied, no other panic rolls were necessary, and the Chaos Hounds are just gone. I think he remembers to try to rally it one more turn, and it runs off again, and then we just forgot about it, and it sat at the far end of the table the whole game. And for those of you keeping tally at home, this is going down as stupid mistake number 1. I have no idea why I didn't think about the Skull Crushers charging into the building. I mean, yeah, he's got to leave the Juggernauts outside, but with his general and the 3 guys on top of that, that's going to be ugly. I don't have a combat character in there. And the Lead Belchers are good, but they're just normal ogres. And as soon as he declared this charge, I just wanted to slap myself because I was like, had no inkling that was what he was going to do. So I, at this point, have no choice but to choke it down and deal with it the best I can. Hopefully, them being stubborn from being in a building will help, provided, of course, he doesn't annihilate the entire unit with his Psycho Chaos Blender Lord thing. And on to stupid mistake number 2. As I kind of alluded to earlier, I had not paid attention to the fact that he would charge the War Shrine right into the flank of my dogs, which, of course, makes them completely unable to do anything other than be rapidly destroyed. And, of course, you can see, as this is after his whole movement phase, you see that the Warriors of Chaos move right up to the fence, completely ignoring the soon-to-be extinct saber tusks. And showing the one part of my plan that did go right, the Chaos Knights charge right into the saber tusk on the right flank. And I didn't get a good picture of it, but his Demon Prince in the middle charged my Iron Blaster, and I chose to flee. I'm not sure if that was the right idea. He wouldn't have hit it anyway, I don't think, but I didn't want to run the risk of it getting destroyed and panicking that whole central unit there. So that's where he ended up after the failed charge, and as I said earlier, the Chaos Warriors moved right up to the fence, so did the Marauders, basically just choking up that whole area with nothing but a lot of nasty units. And magic was a wash, so we went right into combat. You can see his Skull Crushers managed to kill 1 of my my Lead Belchers, but I did do 2 wounds to them too, so that was pretty unexpected. And so we held. I don't remember if I lost this fight or not, but I was stubborn in a building with my BSB in general right outside, so he bounced off. So that was better than I really expected. And this was the point I realized how badly my screw up with the Saber Tusks was going to mess with me. His War Altar killed one of the Saber Tusks. I lost combat, panicked, and ran a very short distance. He actually restrained, so I ended up with my Saber Tusk blocking my only charge arc with my Iron Guts into his warriors. So I pretty much ruined my only chance to get any sort of offensive momentum here, uh, all because I thought I was being clever. Um, so the dog ends up just landing literally right in the worst possible place he could have. 2 more inches, and I would have been golden, but my dice just weren't having it today. And on the side of the board that proves that I'm not a total imbecile, uh, my plan worked. The Chaos Knights obviously destroyed the Saber Tusk, ran right into the Noblars. Unfortunately, no dangerous terrain tests, so starting next turn I'll be facing a fully strengthed and still frenzied unit of Chaos Knights. Okay, so start of Ogre 2, I get an awesome charge with the Stone Horn right into the corner of his Skull Crushers. I rolled boxcars on the charge, so I'm going to get 3d3 plus 3 impact hits. So I'm really hoping I can just demolish them, do enough damage to break them, and really fix my screw ups on this side of the board, because I need something to start swinging momentum bad. And because Khorne Face Crusher is a badass, and I had no other option to get into combat, my Tyrant charges out of the unit of Iron Guts right into the Demon Prince's throat. Figure I gotta get some sort of offense, and I figure I've got a pretty good shot here. Khorne's got enough attacks and high enough strength that I at least feel less dumb about making this step than I do just sitting there waiting for him to come to me. And on the good side of the battle, I do succeed my charge with the Man-Eaters into the flank of the Chaos Knights. I think this is after impact hits. I don't quite remember why he lost 2. Or maybe we did forget to roll the dangerous terrain. But, any rate, I'm in there. Hopefully this will go well and I can take some control in this fight. And my Iron Blaster rallies and turns around and gets ready to shoot maybe next turn. And here, you can't see his wound counter, but I did 2 wounds to the Demon Prince and took 1 wound, so we were pretty well matched. I think I won the combat, but the Demon Prince is unbreakable, so it really doesn't matter unless I can just kill him, and I really need to do it soon, because I don't like the idea of my general out there all by himself. And all I can say about this side of things is, what the F, Man-Eaters? I expect the Noblars to die in droves. He killed 10 of them, but 2 knights killed 2 of my Man-Eaters and put a wound on 1. And because they were just outside of my reroll ability, the Man-Eaters broke. The Noblars stayed. They were steadfast, so my general was close enough, but it was still like, what the hell? Elite units my ass. And here we see that the impact hits from the Stone Horde did kill 1 of the Skull Crushers. Fortunately, after those were dealt, the general came over, made way, and we're going to stay there for a while. I can't hurt him. He's got at this point has had a couple of those buffs from the War Altar go off, and I'm not liking the look of this, but at least he's not charging into my building after my lead belchers anymore. And speaking of being charged, Warrior turn 3 has the Warrior unit charge right into my Iron Guts, and the Marauder unit charge into the small Ogre unit that used to be a bunker for my mage. I didn't get a picture of it during last turn, but the my mage left that unit and came over to hang out with the Iron Guts now that the Tyrant is gone. Um, I figure I'm okay with the Iron Guts. Yeah, he'll probably kill a few before I get to go because they're always strike last. But I'm pretty much ready to write off those three Ogres and the Noblars once those Marauders finish with them and charge into the flank there. And here we see the failed attempt to rally the one Chaos Warhound, as well as the last time either of us remember that he's on the board. And before we got into combat, I just had to step back a moment, take a picture of the whole board, just to remind myself how totally boned I'm about to be. At this point, everything is going my opponent's way. I was not aggressive enough in the beginning, and I'm paying for it. I'm on the defensive side, and that is absolutely the last place you want to be as an Ogre player. And so after his magic phase boosts another couple of stats on his characters, we start off with his general and my Stonehorn trading wounds, 2 and 2. I end up losing the battle by 1 because he has a musician. I believe is how it ended up breaking down. But I succeeded the roll and stuck there, so I was okay. And feel free to update your scorecards because this is stupid mistake number 3. I absolutely forgot that I had gotten up the Ogre Magic +1 strength buff. So we exchanged some blows here. I think I took out 5 or 6 of the Chaos Warriors, but I lost 3 full Iron Guts, and a wound is on the 4th one. And that includes my unit champion, who was just absolutely slaughtered by his pumped up Chaos Lord that's in the unit, who by that point had, I believe, +1 weapon skill, +1 strength, and an extra attack from the freaking War Altar. Now, the only thing that actually went well here, and I wish I had a better shot of it, but you can see in the river, Khorne Face Crusher, the tyrant of the Whitetooth Clan, succeeded in murdering the Demon Prince and devouring his skull. Unfortunately, it's basically a 30-point Demon Prince since it came out of the champion of that unit, but I'm going to count that as a moral victory and put it in my books. And I know this picture is a little blurry, and I do apologize for that, but I was just so overcome with emotion upon seeing my stout Noblar boys getting trampled into the mud by these brutal and very effective Chaos Knights. You also notice that the 3 Ogres that are there are gone. The Marauders just massacred them. I think I did a single wound. Because the Marauders had already overrun into the side of the Noblars, they just did a crazy number of attacks as part of that combat. The Noblars were almost killed to a man and then run down because I couldn't succeed the leadership role. And the Marauders turned around and faced the big fight going on because once they've overrun, they don't get a second overrun. But as you can see, the Chaos Knights almost ended up into the side of my Iron Blaster, which was not good. And in a desperate attempt to make something go right, you see Khorne turns and charges into the side of the Chaos Warrior unit, and the Iron Blaster charges into the side of the Marauders. Now, the only reason I chose to do this is the Marauders were in the river, so I figure he's not going to get his rank bonus. I may be able to do enough impact hits and break him, but I figure if I had a chance, I needed to capitalize on it. And here you see my cowardly man-eaters finally realize the fight's still going on and successfully rally. At this point, I'm not entirely sure what they're going to do because there's absolutely no support over there left alive for them. I figure if they can run in swinging, maybe take down 1 or 2 more models before they die a horrible, lonely death, then they'll be alright. They've got no chance of earning their points back. I've just got to cause some damage for them. All right, here you see that I had Ungoro leave the last lead belcher in the tower there, and I brought him out facing the juggernauts, figuring that even if he was going to die, I could at least maybe get some extra combat res from a charge in the flank to help out the Stonehorn, because I just the combats weren't going anywhere there. I know it leaves him defenseless, but he's not doing anything in that building at this point. But you see, it was too little too late. I did manage to get the +1 strength buff off in a bubble on everything during my magic phase, and then promptly forgot about it through every one of these fights. So I guess stupid mistake number 4, 5, what are we up to now? But the general finally brought his A game, did another couple of wounds on the Stonehorn, and it broke. But in brighter news, my Iron Blaster did do enough wounds to break the Marauder unit and chase them down. But then going over the fence, I failed my dangerous terrain test and it took an extra wound. But at this point, I feel good that it at least claimed some points, even though it didn't claim anything by shooting. But at this point, with the way this game's going, I can't really look a gift horse in the mouth. And here in the main fight, his Chaos Lord declared a challenge. I had my Butcher just step up and take it at this point. He wasn't doing much, and I really wanted to reserve Khorne's attacks for the unit. And, I mean, at this point, if she kills Chog, who cares? I did do good. I think it's, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 warriors died. But Chog took another 2 wounds, and 3 Iron Guts died. He may have lost this. Yes, he did lose this, but he stuck, and because he had the Banner of Rage, he didn't even lose Frenzy. So at this point, I'm kind of realizing I've lost this. And I'll apologize at this point because I actually didn't take these pictures of the next demon turn until after combat. But he obviously charged the building now that it was free, killed the one last remaining lead belcher to get the points there. Mainly he just did that because he couldn't see my Firebelly, who's still over there, but he's not long for this world either. Alright, and you see here he charged the War Shrine into the side of Khorne. And there was copious amounts of violence. I'm down to the the standard bearer from the Iron Guts unit, who has 2 wounds on him. My battle standard bearer with 1, and Khorne, who has 2. I think I did 1 wound on the War Altar, but you can see he's moved his Chaos Knights up to get a charge on there and finish me off next turn. And I took this picture of the whole battlefield just to kind of see where things stand right before the start of Ogre. I think it's Ogre turn 4. You can see in the center there, the Chaos Knights are getting ready to run right into what's left of my Iron Guts. On this side, though, I did kill all the warriors. The only thing that what's left of the Iron Gut unit is standing down is his BSB and that Chaos Lord, both of which have been pumped like crazy by the shrine. Khorne is facing down the level 2 wizard on the back of the shrine, so I'm feeling strong there. And yeah, my Stonehorn is running, but maybe if he can rally this turn, I can really make something happen here. And of course, my 2 cowardly man-eaters are still over there, having not gotten a chance to go yet. So here you see I got Ungoro out of the way so that my Iron Blaster could get 1 good shot off on his Skull Crushers. I did kill one of them, and I think I put a wound on the second one, but it stopped before it hit his general. I was really thinking that would have been awesome if I had managed to just shoot right across all 3 and killed them, but again, the dice just weren't having it. And here you see the Man-Eaters finally remember where their loyalties are. I did manage a stupidly long charge into the back of the Chaos Knights. And this is after combat, I believe. So one of the 2 Man-Eaters died. The other one took another wound. But But really, I was just kind of hoping to hold the Chaos Knights up until I could resolve something here in the middle, and they did that admirably. So, way to sacrifice yourself like a bunch of punks, man-eaters. And here we see the BSB and the Chaos Lord finally kill my Butcher, got the old, or my BSB, and the Standard Bearer for the Iron Guts. But the real tragedy here was the fight between Khorne and this mage. Khorne had 5 attacks. I was going to crush this mage to death. Pick him up, initiative 10, it's going to be all over. And I rolled 5 effing ones. I rolled a Yahtzee on ones, and he whiffed everything. The mage whiffed back, but the War Altar took another wound on him. And now he's just going to be stuck there to take a charge from those 2 pumped up, crazy characters, and it's just about over at this point. And start of Warrior 5, you see the Skull Crushers charge into the building to go after Ungoro, where he was hiding. The 2 pumped up characters, as predicted, charged into Khorne. So, needless to say, it is going to be a bad day to be one of the few surviving members of the Whitetooth Clan. And you see here, the Chaos Knights easily finish off the last man-eater and conveniently dump her body in the charnel pit. And Ungoro is no match for the 2 remaining Skull Crushers and the Chaos Lord General, and is butchered and left to rot in the tower. And Khorne, completely unwilling to go down like a wimp, accepts the challenge of the Chaos Lord, who has been pumped like crazy from this War Altar, and actually manages to land 2 wounds on her before he is cut to ribbons by something like 9 attacks. So, you tried, good tyrant, but you were not the strongest one in this fight. So that's pretty much where we call it. I think I rolled just to see if the Stonehorn would rally on my next turn, and it didn't. So here's what we see of the board at the very end. As you can see, the only thing I've got at this point, which would be the start of Ogre turn 6, is the Iron Blaster up there at the top, and it just doesn't have the wherewithal to do what it needs to. So we went ahead and called the game here, and I consider that I got tabled. Alright, so to wrap up, we have a fairly crushing victory from the Warriors of Chaos to the poor Whitetooth tribe. Of course, my opponent did remind me that pretty much all that he had left, with the exception of the Chaos Knights, were characters. So I did take out a good number of his units, but those characters are a hard nut to crack. All in all, I think I did well with what I had. This was in general a new build for me. I don't usually go quite so heavy with the Noblars, and I hardly ever play with the Man-Eaters, and in general, I'm not impressed with them right now. It may just be that I made so many dumb mistakes here that there wasn't much that they could do to help out, but on the plus side, I was very happy that Khorne took out the Demon Prince. I kind of was hoping for him to do more than that, but that 5 ones on his attacks against the mage just wasn't going to let that happen. But I think my biggest flaw is that I've been going back and forth between playing ogres and the demons of Slaanesh. And I've been playing the demons a lot lately, and they require you to be more patient, to be more passive, and really wait for the perfect opportunities. Whereas I think the ogres really need a certain aggression, and they need to be played with that in mind. And I've been playing them like a wuss. I had some opportunities for some charges early on I should have taken. I really shouldn't have had my saber tusks up there so that they could cause trouble with my charge lanes. Um, it was just a lot of dumb mistakes that I made, and with my opponent, he's a good player. You can't make that many mistakes. He's going to capitalize on them, and he did. He ended up bringing the aggression he needed. He used my passivity to get off as many of those buffs as he could with the War Altar. So by the time I was in a position where I was trying to deal with his characters, there literally was just nothing I could do. They were just pumped like crazy and just cutting through ogres like sheaves of wheat. Um, all in all, though, fun game. Um, I learned a lot. I need to pay some more attention to my ogres, I think, and get in their mindset. But all in all, I was pretty happy with it. I may go back with more of my standard build, kind of take this one down to the ground. Um, Again, I don't think the man eaters were a good choice, or at least there wasn't enough of them to make it good. Um, and I don't really like the Gret Sickle on a level 2. It's kind of a neat toy, but I think it's one of those go big or go home. It doesn't really give you a big enough bonus unless you're on a Slaughtermaster anyway. So I did have the idea of switching up to a Heaven Slaughtermaster and putting the Gret Sickle on it. Um, Maybe that would be more helpful. Allow me to get more of those offensive spells off without trouble. But we'll have to see. But all in all, it was a good game. We had a good time, and I appreciate you guys for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe or like below. And we've got a big one coming up this week that I hope to get out. It's going to be a 2-on-1 game where these warriors of chaos that you've seen trounce me. I'll actually be teaming up with them with my demons, and we're going to be trying to raid the Empire together. So it'll be fun. I'm hoping to have it up. We play in a couple days, and I'm hoping to have it up fairly soon. So please subscribe, like, and if you have any suggestions, any things that you think I could do better, or things that you really like, please comment below. And I'm definitely trying to stay on top of it and pay attention to the comments and help make my channel better and more of stuff that you guys want to see. So thanks again, and I hope you enjoyed.